Okay. Hi everyone, and we are going to look at a very particular action which is called waving hands like clouds, and this is very special. This teaches you how to rotate the entire body really through, about a 90-degree angle without sacrificing your root, and it requires that you understand how the feet move, what they can move on, and how the weight has to be distributed in each foot as you're attempting to make this transition. Why is it so important? Let me find a weapon. Where did I leave it? There it is. All right, so the classic case, when you see in the form, for example, we'll open one foot, we'll make a transition, and we'll close the other foot in as well. Or we'll take a step back, we'll open across, and we'll bring this. Yeah, these are rotations that are very particular, because what's happening is you're not kind of just twisting yourself roughly, approximately, but you're placing the weight in the foot in a certain place, transferring the body so that it secures that, and then that releases you so that you can move the empty part freely. And this is really important, because if somebody was to attack the empty part, it's empty, it's not there, so it's much harder for them to actually deliver something that's going to be conclusively damaging. So we don't learn this with the saber, because essentially the saber is a very big finger. Right, it's a very long finger. That's what the sword really represents, and this is why we have sword fingers. The dowel, the curved blade, more the palm. But the point is, you can study this without needing this at all. And if you're stuck indoors in a really small space, then being able to separate the practice of the sword from the sword is really handy. Okay, so from here, horse stance. Hands on my hips. Right, how do we get to horse stance? We start from mother, open the heels out 45 degrees, and then just go back to parallel, and then drop the height until you feel the knees reconnect with the feet, and the bum through the knees down to the feet. The knees are more or less directly above the feet at this point, right? And so you've got like what Michael would describe as the flying buttresses on a church, which is the structure that keeps it from collapsing. It's like the arch that you would find in architecture going back thousands of years, and it basically holds up the structure of your body. So it's not you're standing with two straight lines from the feet to the hips. The knees are above the feet, and then it forms an arch like this. Now you must make sure that the feet are flat on the ground. I don't want your feet to be rolling onto the blades at all. Okay, that's too much, that's gone too far. And conversely, if the knees are collapsing in and the feet are rolling like this is also incorrect. So before we begin in the journey that is wave hands like clouds, 5 foundations, folks. Again, if you're looking at this video and your 5 foundations are shoddy because you haven't done the work, you're here too soon. You shouldn't need to be told to balance your feet correctly, right? This is really important, that you appreciate how carefully constructed the syllabus is, and that it's taken, generations and centuries to polish and refine itself to this point. And just because we've got mobile phones and the internet, it doesn't mean we're cleverer than the people who put the syllabus down this way. Okay, we really need to appreciate and understand and respect the human knowledge and effort that's gone into doing this stuff. And you can't cut corners. You just end up hurting yourself, right? So get the feet right, balanced in them equally, left and right, front and back. And now we're just going to very gently shift the weight from one side to the other. One side to the other. And you'll notice what I'm not doing is I'm not rocking like a metronome from one side like this. I'm actually moving, trying to keep the spine horizontal vertical. And also you'll notice what I'm not doing is I'm not going up and down, up and down. I'm maintaining my height and the altitude of my hips. And I'm shifting the weight left and right until I can feel I'm here, this foot is empty, move across. I'm here, this foot therefore is empty, I can lift it. And obviously if I can lift it, that means I can safely turn it as well. There are ways to turn on weighted feet, but that's not the task of waving hands like clouds. This is teaching you something else, right? So from here, now you're only going to rotate the empty foot on the heel of the foot, not the ball of the foot. Remember, the heel of the palm and the ball of the palm are absolutely analogous, so I do use my hands to point to my feet sometimes, right? So what I'm going to do is this, I'm going to empty my right foot, I'm going to pick up the right toes, and from the center of my body, without collapsing the left knee, I'm going to turn approximately 30 degrees, 40 degrees over to the side and then place the foot back down like this. And you all know about all of this because you've been doing those challenges with the 6-6s. So if you haven't been doing them and you find that just holding this posture for this long in one leg whilst you try to move this one and this is hurting you, they say, you ain't ready, you are not prepared. Okay, you need to go back, do those challenges, get this stuff up, because you need to be able to hold the weight so that you can do the study. If you can't be patient whilst you work out what's going on because you don't have the strength to support yourself in that one leg, and I haven't shifted yet, yeah, I'm still standing there, so you should still be standing there copying this, right? Open the toe, shift the weight across, knee correct over the ball of the foot, stretching from the heel of the now empty left foot all the way to the top of my head. I'm going to pick up those empty toes without locking the knee and without, if I lift those toes up and I do this and I physically lift as a consequence, I've lost my root, which means there's no point in doing any further exercise here. I need to drop down into the ball of this foot, relaxing this leg so that I can raise this toe, and then I'm going to turn the rest of my waist, bringing that toe with me, forward archery stance facing the corner. Okay, now we're going to go back the other way. So I'm going to first establish the root down into the ball of the heavy foot, pick up the toes on the empty, drop the bum and lift the head, turning from the center to open the toe out to the other direction. Do not let this knee collapse. Keep this over the foot. Foot comes down. I'm ready. Now I can make the transition from dantian down into the ball of this foot, stretching the head away from the heel of the empty foot. Pick up the toes. Right? Did I lift wholesale? No, because instead, as I raised the toe, I softened the knee and sunk into the ball of the left foot. And then I'm going to complete the rotation from the waist. Note how the waist and the shoulders moving together. And I turn that toe in until I'm parallel. Nice big forward archery stance facing the corner. And now you can see what we've got is tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. I'm just turning the feet on the heels as a consequence of the waist rotating, and I'm making sure that at all points, and I come through here, this is a big horse stance in the middle. You can see the feet are in different directions, which is how a lot of people will practice the horse stance. We normally do the horse with the feet parallel, and this is because we're trying to open up the muscles of the bum. But this is still a horse stance as well. So you're going through the horse stance into the forward archery. Through the horse stance, 50-50, across, empty that side, bring it in, forward archery. And the height of my waist is remaining constant throughout the exercise. I'm not coming up in the middle and going down on either side. I'm trying to make sure the bum stays nice and heavy. Okay, so that's the component of the feet. That's it. There's the component of the feet. The heels do not move. If you find yourself doing this and you're sliding further and further and further apart as you go, that's fine. Just every now and then gather it back up. You will learn eventually to not let that happen, and that will disappear as you become very clear with the weighting in your feet, because the sliding's happening because there's forces that are lateral in the foot against the surface, and that shouldn't be there. There should only be vertical forces acting through your feet. If your weight is distributed correctly, that will happen automatically. Right, so the hands that combine with it as well, because the beauty of wave hands like clouds, it is one of the first times in the unarmed form that you experience this holistic harmony of the whole body absolutely requiring from the fingertips to the toes via the center to integrate all of the network, and the chain, the kinetic chain is huge. So we're going to study the hands separately, and then we'll glue them all together, and then you end up with wave hands like clouds. I have two. So from here, I'm going to start just by very lightly turning my waist. Not a huge amount, just a few degrees. But I'm keeping my hands on my hips, and I'm feeling how I move from left to right and right to left. My shoulders and hips united, moving together. And then from here, I'm making a circle with this hand. And if I start off with a square, so you can see my hand is actually just doing this. Yeah? Where is the square comes from is because the waist turns. Then I lift the arm, then the waist turns. And I got two hands, right? So I can... The humans are dead. The humans are dead. Yeah? And now we smooth it out and make it circles. There it is. But there's more, because that rotation here in the waist also translates along the axis of the forearms as well, right? So this is this stuff, which translates into grappling in the most sublime way. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, so this is all the locking methods come from these rotational sort of ideas. What we're going to do now is you're going to turn the palm out as you rotate to the side, and it's going to sweep down like you're splashing and playing in water, right? So it's going to come down, it's going to lift up here like you're holding something in your hand, like a bowl of soup or something, and then it's going to turn out, and as you go across the center, can you see? I'm going to turn my palm out. As I turn the waist, I'm going to turn the palm out thus, like I'm going to reach out and catch a ball. Down, lifting, and rotate that out. Down and lifting and rotate it out. I'm going to change hands. So now this one sinks and this one's going to lift, and it's facing me at the beginning, and as I rotate from one side to the other across I'm going to turn that palm out thus. Down through the middle here, playing with the water. Lift it up like you're holding the bowl of soup, and then as you sweep across, I'm going to start turning that palm outwards, thus. And remember, there's no rotation in the shoulder like this. The shoulder is literally just going up and down. The rotation's coming from the center. And this means you can be very efficient with this joint. Why is that important? Because you're carrying a 4-foot sword, right? You ain't got no time to muck about with movements that aren't needed, because your opponent's also got a 4-foot sword. So you need to be efficient. And this is one of the beauties of Tai Chi, is that it doesn't focus on simply being powerful. Power will come naturally, and power is determined partly by your genetics as well. So there's no point in, like, you know, a 4-foot person trying to be the same as an 8-foot person. That's not going to happen. And it doesn't matter how much you pay that person, they can never teach you to be like them, because they're different. They're just different types of people. Technology can be transferred to anybody. And efficiency is technology. You can teach that efficiency to the 4-foot person and they will be better as a consequence. And you can also teach that efficiency to the 8-foot person, and they will also be a better fighter as a direct consequence of being exposed to technology. So I'm not so fussed. You need to have enough physical strength to do the exercises. But this is a pursuit of the perfection of the technique, so it is optimized in its efficiency. Beyond that, it's down to you to do enough training to generate power as well. But you shouldn't be aiming for the power. You should be aiming for the technique. And you can see I'm doing this now with both hands. 1 up, 1 down, 1 up, 1 down. And I'm now going to integrate the feet. So what's going to happen here is I'm turning this way, following these fingertips on my left hand as I turn to the left. And I'm going to, as I do that, I'm going to shift the weight to free the left foot, and as my toes, or rather as my fingers move out, look at my toes go with them. They're connected. Why? Because the center is informing the fingertips and the toes. I place that foot, I shift the weight, turning the palm out, and as I empty the right foot, I'm going to turn the waist, reach up and take the pulse. And I'm in the forward archery, opening the empty foot here thus, turning the palm out as the foot comes down, press across, pick up the empty toes, parallel, reach up, take the pulse, open, place the foot, press across, pick up the empty toes. Now I want you to do the rotation of the palms coincident with the back foot now. Both the palms turning to face the target as the toes come online. Reach up, take the pulse. Staying in the left foot, pick up the empty right toe, turn from the center, rotate through the horse stance, placing the foot, transfer the weight by sinking down into the ball of the right foot, pick up the empty left toes and watch it. This hand turns, and this foot turns because the center is going to turn. Ho! Reach out, take the pulse. At the horizon, head in the stars, bum in the earth. Establish the root through the legs. Open, press, close, pulse. Open, press, close, pulse. Open, press across, close, take the pulse. If you're one of those lucky people with a balcony, or you happen to find yourself with a spare moment as you climb a mountain, stand on the beach, wave hands like clouds is your friend. Fits in your pocket, doesn't even need any batteries. Take it with you wherever you go and enjoy it. Remember, you need to assemble it first before it will join you on your adventures. And just like all other flat packs, the amount of time you spend reading the instructions and getting it right means it will last you, and it will do the job it was intended for. Now we can go big with this, huge. You see I kicked my heel out. I'm going to kick the other heel out again. Ha. And there is, of course, the walking method with this as well, which we will discuss as more and more of you venture towards the unarmed stuff. Or those who don't know it, yes, the unarmed is now part of the syllabus as well. It's not formalized yet, but I will be teaching push hands. So there's no getting away from this once you get, certainly if you want to be looking at your level 5 and exploring that in depth, you're going to need to understand how to engage in unarmed combat in order to be able to add it to your display fights. And it does look amazing when you get it right, because it just suddenly adds a new flavor into your performance. And there's no shortcut to that. The only way I know how to teach it is this way. The only shortcut that exists to learning those skills is to do it via choreography. And unfortunately, even via choreography, you still need 5 years of training in order to be good at it. So if the shortcut takes 5 years, how long will the real thing take? And the answer is, it's your life. Your life, right? But why would anybody do that? Because it makes you better at everything you do. Everything you do. Everything you've ever done or going to do is going to be done expressed through your body. So learn how your body works, and it doesn't matter what you want to do, you will be better at doing it. Okay, so that's waving hands like clouds and a whole pile of other stuff thrown in for good measure. I loved it. Yeah, I hope you love it too. I'll see you soon.